I have returned to the same spot where I saw my first and only white squirrel here some several years ago on a previous hen-sitting visit to Eastbourne. I'm in the park, the local park, on a Sunday morning after coffee and being inspired by the music and film reviews. It's there's something very consoling, actually, I find, you may find, about coming back to a familiar place. A previous time I was here, quite often when I went for a walk in the park, there was a sort of, you could only say a bag woman with her trolley, her shopping trolley with her belongings and her plastic bags, and I was very respectful, but she made it clear she didn't want to have any interaction with the likes of me. Very dodgy. In all fairness, and today I am looking rather dishevelled. Interestingly, the grey squirrel doesn't find me intimidating. Yeah, I'm looking rather dishevelled. I was shevelled when I arrived here 3 days ago, but I've not shaved, so I'm now dishevelled. But there is a steam room where I'm staying, and I have enjoyed a naked steam with a glass of wine. That's the way I rock. Kierkegaard rocks slightly differently, but he does explore in practice and in travel on a train the idea of repeating a pleasant and memorable experience. He hopped on a train from Copenhagen, where he lived and was very well known amongst his neighbours, to Berlin, and stayed in a pension house in Berlin. I don't know if he wrote anything whilst he was there. I think it was just sort of a city break. The church wouldn't have him, universities wouldn't have him. He was a sort of a freelance philosopher. He published 40 books in his 42 years, quite remarkably. Prolific is the word. And he, in one book, or essay, Repetitions, he took it upon himself to retrace his steps, or his rails, on the train to the same pension house and to the same restaurant, to see if he could capture the same enjoyable feeling. Didn't work. It reminds me of the famous Heraclitus quote, "You can't step into the same river twice." And such is our human experience, isn't it? So the squirrels are different. I haven't seen the white one yet. The idea that you can reproduce the same experience is forlorn for most of us. I got some earache from a good Christian friend of mine for returning to Lanzarote so many times, probably about 30 times before I lived there. 2 years lived there, and about probably another 30 or 50 times since I left some years ago. Her view is that she would prefer to see somewhere new each time. Well, I can understand that. There's lots of lovely places, new places that you can visit. But I think this is an addiction that most of us share, an addiction for new experience. It's perfectly, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. you can hear the butt coming. I've had a slightly maudlin Sunday morning, ruminating on how the perfect life is always deficient. Now this might be very thin ice, very, very difficult territory to cover, and you might sack me off as being a completely self-indulgent, selfish clod for this, but here goes. I actually I'm here, I'm writing, I'm pulling together some of my journals from previous years, and it's made me reflect how perfect my current life situation is. I'm going to regret this, aren't I? In terms of, I'm in a fabulous, literally a designer studio with 4 chickens in the garden and 2 cats in the house, who all of them are fantastic therapy. So I've never been so calm. I sat in the coop with the chickens, treating them to a little handful of corn this morning. We're building a good relationship, Vanessa especially, the black one, and I was reading Mrs. Dalloway. I thought she might appreciate a bit of Virginia Woolf educating the chickens this morning. I'm sure they appreciated it. Also playing them some music on my tin amp, my Bluetooth tin amp. What did I choose to play them? Well, an English band, as you are asking, called Ten Fae, which I think is, they're an English band, but I think it's Portuguese for have faith or take faith. And the chickens, they seem to really appreciate the rhythmic structure and lyrical inventiveness. But in my maudlin this morning, nothing seemed to be not satisfactory, that's not the right word, sufficient. Well, this is the very middle class first world problem, isn't it? Everything's perfect. Poor me. But I'm going home shortly after this to a pot boiler of scallops and langoustines and mussels. I think I shall do some spaghetti pasta with it for my Sunday lunch, listening no doubt to Ten Fae or Danny and the Champions of the World, which I've just recently got into. Why do I share this with you? So being so precious? Well, it's just a reflection on how my normal, I don't know about your normal, conscious lived experience is one of consumption, shall we say. Keep me interested, keep me stimulated, keep me diverted. But really, what I have been sinking into and enjoying this few days is the exact opposite. So sitting quietly with the chickens in the coop, stroking Bob and BB the cats, and being stroked back, I have to say. I'm getting on much better than previous visits, and it's a delight, and I really have come to rest. I have not been out much. This is apart from going to the shop yesterday for the mussels and the bread, I've been here 3 days, and this is the first time I've ventured out, and it's only the park down the road. Oh, there's the one. I don't believe it. You won't be able to see it at this distance, but it's the white squirrel. Hurrah! Really, look, there's a flash of light as it goes between the trees. Can you see it? I can't do the zoom in from here because it would be on the back of the phone, but how extraordinary. I never thought I would see the white squirrel again, and there it is. Wow. So you see, if I hadn't have been maudlin, if I hadn't come to the park for my hit of coffee and papers, and felt obliged to do something useful like a short video, I wouldn't have been sat here, and I would have missed the white squirrel again. And in a way, this is what I'm referring to. It's like getting a hit of enjoyment, pleasure, whatever your addiction is. But can we just sit quietly and marinate in our own being? Well, I want to encourage you to give it a go. Not in an ascetic way, a sort of deprivation way. I don't want you to go into a self-made deprivation tank. What I found helpful is making a distinction between, we talk about consciousness, but I think there are levels, and I don't mean from unconscious to waking to out of it. I mean a very idea of what consciousness is, but I found this helpful, and you may too. I make a simple distinction between the contents of consciousness, which is seeing, our friend the squirrel here, hearing, the wood pigeon and the birds in the background. Oh, there are 3 squirrels now. Oh, they're ganging up on me. The green of the trees, the rough bark of the trunk, these the sound of the traffic. These are objects in our consciousness, and they come and go. There are thoughts and feelings, perceptions, if you like, or reflections on the contents of experience, the contents of consciousness, which can occupy our mind. But what I am suggesting is that beyond that, or prior to that, there is something beyond consciousness in which the contents of consciousness appears. Bear with me. Unfortunately, we have to give things names to try and be specific. What I'm talking about, or what the word I'm going to use for that, is awareness. With a capital A, of course. Awareness. It seems to me that what we cannot dispute is the fact that we are aware. This unmistakable sense of I am, I exist, I am here, I am experiencing. But I am experiencing the contents of consciousness. Now then, give this a go. Don't worry, I'll be going soon. I want my muscles. Just sit with the sense of being aware and notice how everything comes and goes within that unchanging awareness. So see if you can do that just for a few minutes or longer. And it's fascinating. Sometimes it's really difficult. The temptation is to wander off and do something, wash the pots or listen to music or read the paper or anything other than simply sit still in your own being. But it does seem to me from practice little experience, especially here, being calmed down by the chickens and the cats, that this still unchanging awareness is always present, and in which the things of consciousness come and go. And what is that doesn't come and go? And who are you anyway? Muscles, I think. See you later.